Welcome to the Transform My Dance Studio podcast, the only podcast for dance studio owners, where each week we bring you business growth strategies to help you increase your profits, impact the lives of more students, while ensuring you get back some time to have a little life outside of the studio. It's time for you to become the go-to studio in your area. Now, here's your host, founder of the Dance Studio Owners Association, Clint Salter.
Hey Dance Studio Owners, it's Clint here. Welcome to episode number 75 of the Transform My Dance Studio podcast. So thrilled to be here with you today. I've just spent an amazing 2.5 weeks across the UK, firstly speaking at a great event for studio owners through the Dance Teacher Hub retreat, which was amazing. We had about 60 people there on the day, and it was just awesome. So many hungry studio owners, wanting to know how to really transform their business and take it to the next level and stop teaching as much. That was a big conversation we had. And how to attract students the best way possible for 2016, and how to retain our students, how to show love and give lots of value back to our clients, our customers, without it sucking up all of our time and energy. So I had so many great conversations over lunches and throughout my workshops, and just finished now 2 days working with Baby Ballet, which is just the most amazing preschool dance franchise company run by Claire O'Connor, and spent just 2 brilliant days. I ran 3 workshops with the franchisees of Baby Ballet. We had a whole lot of people there, a lot of fun, a lot of laughing, and it was just great to see so many people so passionate about the Baby Ballet brand. And if you don't know about them, they run classes up to 6-year-olds, so the preschool dance sector, and they're just doing so many great things here in the UK. So make sure you definitely check them out, and check out Claire. If you're one of our association members, we have a masterclass with Claire in our membership site. So make sure you check that out, where Claire talks about how she's grown her business and gives our members tips on growing their own preschool departments. So after, a couple of weeks of presenting, I'm just about to head over to the US tomorrow. It has made me think a lot more about retention, because so many questions come up about how to attract new students into your studio, and you need that, right? Marketing, like I always say, is like oxygen is for human beings. If we don't have it, we die. And it's similar to your business, to your studio. But one thing that stuck out a lot when I was chatting to people is people were saying, Clint, I get these students in, but then I lose some. So I feel like I'm never getting over a certain amount of students. It's like we get 10, we lose 10. We get 20, we lose 20. So I'm always like hovering around, 100, 150, 200 students. And I never feel like I can break past it. And so what I've done is, being a massive fan of retention myself, and it's something we focus on a lot when we had our studio. Hence why I was able to grow it so quickly, because we kept the majority of the students that we had, and we just kept putting more people into our classes, enrolling more students into our classes. And so what I decided to do was put together a guide with the 4 proven steps on retaining more students in your studio. Now, I'm not going to give you thousands of steps when it comes to retention. I just wanted to give you 4 things that if you implement these 4 things into your studio, they are going to greatly increase the amount of students that you retain within your studio. Now, you can download this guide. It is for free. You just need to go to studentsthatstay.com, studentsthatstay.com, and we'll have the link to that in our show notes as well if you head to our website, dancestudioownersassociation.com, and click on the podcast tab. And so today what I wanted to do is I wanted to run you through a couple of these strategies, and I go into a lot more detail within the guide, so make sure you do check it out. Not if you're driving, wait till you get to the studio or you get home, and just go on to studentsthatstay.com. So I wanted to run you through a couple of these strategies. Now, the first strategy is a new student onboarding process. Now, generally, when we start our studio and we have a studio and we build our studio, we focus so much on like as soon as they're in the door, that's where the work finishes, right? You know, they go into classes, the teachers look after them, you obviously look after them as well, but that's kind of the job's done. Well, actually, that's when your job just starts. And what I found is that a lot of studio owners don't have a 6-week onboarding process as part of their studio procedures and systems. So when I'm talking about onboarding, it's what are the materials, what is the value that you're giving to that person when they jump on in and enroll in your studio? How are you building that trust and credibility? Because I know that within the first 4 to 6 weeks, that they are the most crucial weeks that someone is within your business, because that's when they're really deciding, are you a right fit? Are you a right fit for each other? And so a lot of studio owners will go, hey, what happened to that child that was here for 2 weeks and never came back? And a lot of the time it's because there's no systems or procedures in place to ensure that that student and that parent has the best experience possible and feels like they are super supported during that time that they're part of your studio. And obviously we want them to stay a lot longer than 6 weeks. And that's kind of like the cutoff. After 6 weeks, you pretty much got them for a while if you keep doing all of the stuff that I'm going to talk about in today's episode. So really, it's pretty easy once you have this formula. And so what I want to talk to you about is a 6-part email sequence. And in this 6-part email sequence, so 1 email a week, this is where you welcome your new families into your studio. You put their mind at ease. The great thing about this sequence as well is it lets them know that you care about their experience. Also, you want to answer and address any of the concerns and questions that they have, really even before they've thought of them themselves. So have a think about this for a minute, okay? So what do we know when a new student comes into our studio? What are some of the things that they're going to start feeling during those first couple of weeks? Well, maybe they feel like they don't fit in, and that's why it's good to have a buddy system, buddy someone up. And I talk about that in our 11-step enrollment checklist. But, you want to make sure you've got a buddy because, I've even as an adult, if I go to a new group, a social group or something, and I don't know anyone, I kind of feel like a bit of a loner until someone says, hey, Clint, come and meet so-and-so. And it's the same in dance class. We want to make sure that the teacher introduces them, buddies them up with people, and, makes them, feel a part of the family as quickly as possible. But it's something that you need to address early on. So in this email sequence, in your first email, you'll welcome them. In the second one, during the second week, you might say, look, so many of our studios, our students form lifelong friendships in our studio. And it's natural that you might feel a little bit out of place this week. And that's completely normal. So essentially what you're doing, and you'll have a whole lot of different things that come up as challenges or concerns for your students and parents, but you want to address them, really hit the nail on the head, so to speak, so that they go, oh, that's normal. You can also do a separate sequence for your preschool children and say things like, it's okay that your child has been crying for the last 2 weeks or they've been licking the mirrors. Okay, so those types of things are really important. Call them out. Don't try and hide from them because that's what people are feeling. Maybe it's that they're finding it a bit tricky in the older groups to pick up choreography. And I know that puts a lot of people off, especially if they're joining your group when maybe they're far into a recital routine or a concert routine or a competition routine. And so you want to make sure that you're addressing those things as well. This 6-part sequence is really about making them feel comfortable at home, that you've got an open door policy, that they can come to you with any of their questions. The other thing you also want to do is make sure you share your vision for your studio, what they can expect, who is part of your team. I've seen with our members, a great thing is that, in email number 2 or 3, they'll introduce their office staff, and it might be a video from their office staff saying, hey, we're Jenny, and hi, we're Susie, and, we're the people that are here to make your life so easy, and make sure you're kept up to date with everything that's happening at the studio as it happens, right? So you can get really creative with these emails as well. Definitely make sure you include videos and audio messages and text emails as well. So that's the first thing that you need to sit down and look at. And I go more detail into this in the guide, but you need to look at your 6-week onboarding process. Now, the second one is communication. Now, as well as I do, people can get in touch with us through every possible medium these days, through Facebook messages, Instagram. I get messages on Instagram now and Twitter, and they can call phone numbers and they can email you. And so as a studio owner, I know that maybe you're getting people contacting you like left, right, and center. And so what's really important is that you put in place a policy around communication. You just really need to set expectations up front and give your parents just a few communication channels. So once they have that in place, you can enforce it. They shouldn't be texting you on your cell or your mobile number. There's some things that are like completely out of bounds, and you've got to put restrictions and expectations. But up front, if you don't do that, if it's not in your student handbook or part of your onboarding process, well, then people are going to think they can contact you 24/7, and that's when they get angry because you haven't set the expectation. So a couple of ways that you can really help increase the flow of communication, making sure that people are getting answers, but that you're not kind of answering questions all the time, including like Sundays at 10 p.m. about, tights. So the first thing I'm going to suggest to you is get a closed Facebook group. So setting up a closed Facebook group for your parents and your students is awesome. It means you can have just a constant stream of communication flowing. Again, set your expectations and rules for the group at the front, and then you can just pop in there 10, 15 minutes every day and answer the questions. It's really a great platform for your existing customers. The second thing is have a monthly newsletter. Now, monthly, so not sporadic, not whenever you feel like it, not when you've got a lot of information. I know some studio owners who won't do a newsletter for 3 months, and then they'll send one every week because there's so much stuff going on. This requires you to be super, super organized, and it's going to help you. If you say on the first Monday of every month, you're going to get our studio newsletter, which is going to update you for what's happening over the next 30 days, your parents are going to love that. What they don't love is the inconsistency. And we now know from our research that the reason the most amount of people are leaving studios is because they feel like the studio owner is unorganized. Okay, it's not because of the classes, it's because they feel like the business is all over the shop. So introducing these strategies as well when I talk about retention is going to keep more of your students and parents with smiling faces and staying at your studio and not jumping to another studio up or down the road. A studio app is really good as well. So there is a free app called Team App, TEAM, app, APP. It's a free application that you can set up for your studio, and then your parents can download it so you can have all information about your studio and that as well. One word of warning though is that the push notifications, what I found with some studio owners is that they do get a little bit lazy in their communication and organization and rely on push notifications. So sometimes the parents are getting 2 or 3 notifications a day from the app because you're relying on it to go, oh, and we need that tonight, and oh, we need that. But you actually need to be really organized. So don't spam people on the app because they'll delete it. So again, you need to be organized, but it's just another channel for you to communicate. Obviously, email, parents still want to email you, with concerns, but just have one email address that they can use. So an example would be, help@susiesdancestudio.com. No one should have your personal email or teacher's email or office staff individual emails. You need just one central email address that your office staff or you monitor and respond from. I would also suggest having an auto response on that email address that thanks them for their email email, and that their, email will be answered within, 1 business day or 12 hours or 24 hours, whatever it is for you. This is different from enrollment emails, by the way. I have a whole different philosophy around that, but this is for people that are existing customers. And lastly, phone. People still want to talk to you on the phone, and that's completely okay. You want to be able to talk to your customers on the phone. It's so important. And for your existing families, one strategy that I really love is having live office hours. Now, these are hours that you set where someone is at the studio answering the phone to answer current family questions. Okay, so it's a really, really great strategy. But instead of saying, we're available for you, 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, say if you have specific questions and you want someone to answer them on the phone, we have, these two days, 3 hours a day where we do live office hours. And I found that that's really valuable. It also funnels all of your phone calls from existing people into certain times, which is amazing. Again, it's just about training the parents, and setting those expectations, and you will notice you will get more time back. You'll be happier. I'm telling you, you'll be much happier when you put in a communication schedule, really. All right, let's move on to number 3, which is about celebrating birthdays. Yay! We love this, and I love this when I had my studio. And so there's a couple of ways that you can celebrate birthdays. I'm going to run you through just 4. The first one is handwritten cards. We're so technology obsessed, and, I still remember those days, when email was like fun to get email, and like you never went to the letterbox because you always got junk. And now isn't it the other way around? You like don't want to check your email, but you get excited when you get something in the letterbox. And so don't forget about, doing some offline things. So I think a beautiful, handwritten card, with a birthday message, a nice image on the front, maybe your logo of the studio on the back, is such a nice little gift. And imagine like a parent getting the card out and giving it to their little 3-year-old or 6-year-old saying, look, look, little Sarah, we've got this card from dancing. I mean, that would make them feel really special. And it's not hard logistically. At the beginning of the month, get your office person or you just write them all out. You should have spreadsheets, or your studio software is going to tell you about birthdays. It'll take you probably half an hour to an hour, and you post them. I mean, there's not a lot of cost. There's not a lot of time involved for the amount of impact that type of activity would have. So jump onto that. One of my favorites that I only came up with recently is having a birthday selfie station. Now, because we know, right, our students are loving Instagram and Snapchat at the moment. So it's really important that you keep up with the times and allow them to celebrate their birthdays with a fun birthday selfie. And this is an idea that I've shared in our association as well. It's gone so crazy with our members. They absolutely love it. All you need to do is get a pull-up banner design, jump onto Fiverr or Upwork if you don't have a graphic designer, that says, it's my birthday, with an arrow pointing to the place that they stand. And then, you can upload it to social media. They can upload it to Instagram, put it on Snapchat, Facebook, highlighting their birthday, but also your studio. And so I love that one, and so do the children. The other one is having a birthday song. So a few of our very creative members have made their own birthday song that they play at the end of the class for their children. Now, your seniors aren't going to love this, but your little kids absolutely do. The awesome thing is you can jump on Fiverr, get an original song and some music for $100. It can include your studio name in it. I mean, you guys will really love this because you're super creative, right? Making up a little birthday song, and then you can film parts of it, put it again on Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, but it makes them feel so special. They can form a circle and run around them in a circle. You can sit them on a chair. You can put a little tiara on them. I mean, there's so many ideas that you can do, and it takes 2 minutes at the end of class. Super easy. Now, your birthday song might not excite your senior students as well, and so you might want to do pass it along presents. So that's where you buy the first present for the person for the new season whose birthday it is first in that class, and then they pass it along. So once someone has a birthday, and then that person buys a little present for the next person, and you put a limit, like can't spend more than $10, and the present has to start with the letter of the person's first name or something. So you make it really fun, but the senior students really love this. It's also a great opportunity to have them bonding together as well, because sometimes the person that doesn't like someone has to buy a present for them, and it just opens up some new lines of communication. So yeah, I think that's a super good idea, and I love celebrating birthdays. So I've given you a couple ideas there. And the fourth one, which you may have heard me talk about before when it comes to retention, but it's something that I can never say enough of, and that's doing your 90-day calls. Okay, that's where every 90 days you call the people in your studio and check in how they're going. Now, this is not an opportunity for you to do a full-on survey. It's just seeing, check in, see how their child's going in class. If they want to offer any feedback for you, that's fantastic. If they want to tell you what they really love about the studio, that is also fantastic. But it's really just an opportunity to say, hey there, haven't spoken to you in class. Sarah's been going so well. I just wanted to ring and check in. Now, you as the studio owner don't have to facilitate these calls yourself. Your office manager or reception staff or someone that knows what's happening inside the studio can also do them as well. Okay, so they are my 4 ideas for helping you retain more students in your studio. Now, I know if you implement all of those 4, over the next couple of months, you are going to be rocking it when it comes to retention. Now, if you want the written out, the guide, make sure you go to studentsthatstay.com and grab that guide. It's free. And that means you can download it. It's a PDF. You can keep it on your computer and you can refer back to it all the time. Well, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode, all about how to retain your students that stay. We love it. And we need to focus some more on our retention within our studio. So I hope this has kind of sparked a bit of energy and excitement in you about shifting some of that focus to retention in your studio. Absolute pleasure, as always, to be here with you, and I want to thank you for joining us. Next week, we have a very, very special guest on the show. It's Todd Herman, and he is a performance coach. He works with top athletes, royal families, on how they get more out of their days. You're really going to love the conversation. But until then, have an awesome week. If you want the guide, go to studentsthatstay.com, and I'll talk to you again really soon. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. For all the resource links from the show and to receive access to our free dance studio growth training, make sure you visit transformmydancestudio.com.